Hello and welcome to the very first edition of BOI Weekly in the year 2021. Finally, we can put 2020 behind us. Yes, many would say it was such a difficult year, but quite a number of beautiful things happened in the course of 2020. For instance, the year presented the opportunity for people and groups who would normally have nothing in common to work together to create solutions to some of the problems created by the pandemic. Today on the show, we would take a look at some of the unique partnerships that the Bank of Industry engaged in the year 2020, one of which was to support the fish production industry in Nigeria. Carflex Fisheries Limited, a large fishing enterprise, is run and owned by a woman. With about a dozen vessels for both industrial and commercial fishing operation, made possible by the Bank of Industry, they produce, process and package a wide variety of seafood products for local and foreign markets. Also on the show today, you'll see the Bank of Industry's intervention in the construction sector as BOI invested close to ₦500 million in the expansion drive of a polystyrene production company. Located at the Idu Industrial Estate, Abuja, the nation's capital, the company is now Nigeria's leading producer of building and construction panels using a unique material known as polystyrene. We have details in just a moment. Don't go away.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning. How are you?
Meet Mrs. Marina Samuel. At a glance, you could miss her for a banking executive, IT consultant, diplomat, or even a fashion entrepreneur. But no, your guess is not as good as mine. She is a fisherwoman. Perhaps that's why her first name is Marina, but Mrs. Samuel, the managing director of Carflex Fisheries Limited, plays big in the Nigerian fishing industry. At a given time, she has at least 10 fishing and shrimping vessels dragging in hundreds of tons of fish and other kinds of seafood from the Nigerian and West African waters into homes here in Nigeria as well as others in Europe and America. She is a hand that feeds nations. Carflex Fisheries is an indigenous company with a direct focus on industrial and commercial fishing, processing and packaging a wide variety of seafood and sundry products for Nigerian, European and American markets through their fish shops and hundreds of local and international fish agents. With a vision to become a household name in providing branded quality seafood products, Carflex began operations 17 years ago and today has expanded its offering to satisfy heterogeneous consumers across continents. Some of their products include inkfish, croaker, catfish, soulfish, yellowtail fish, baby ray, eel, tigerfish, red snapper, grouper, brunt, calamari, barracuda, as well as shrimps, prawns, crabs, and lobsters. We visited their operational bases at the Nigerian Ports Authority Jetty, Kirikiri Town, Apapa, Lagos. She introduces us to one of the vessels that are currently on shore. Meet the vessel named Dr. Marius and get a sense of its fishing capacity and calendar. It's a 130-ton shrimping vessel.
This is Dr. Marius 1, one of our vessels. This one came in 2016. Our operation is a floating factory. Everything is done on board. Once they get to sea, they haul up. All the processes that needs to be put in place is put in place, and following all the quality assurance norms in place, and then the products are put into 2-kilo packets and then into the master cartons, and then it's ready to export. After doing all the necessary things they do here, you dry the products here. After drying it for like about 3 to 4 hours before it goes into the fish hole. So it stays in the fish hole, it doesn't come out again until their expected time of arrival, their ETA. When they arrive, that's when we now discharge the product. This is the wheelhouse. This is where the captain stays. He stays here, sits here. When if he has to stand, he stands to operate the vessel. As you can see, all the gadgets. These are gadgets that tell them the different areas where they can fish, where they can find the right type of fish, the right type of shrimps.
When a particular vessel is not at sea fishing, it's a window of opportunity to do its maintenance. That's what's happening to one of Carflex's vessels here at the dock. We also had the opportunity to see other parts of the maintenance department where netting and other mechanical repair works are carried out.
This is the net the vessels use when they go to sea, and you can see they are busy preparing this net for one of our vessels that just came back from sea.
Next, we move to the discharge bay where the fish are sorted and distributed to agents.
This is our discharge bay. The discharge bay for the medium vessels, because those ones are brought in with the baskets. So once they come in, they pour on top of the table, they sort them out, clean them up, and hand over to the agents.
Carflex Investment is the subsidiary that runs the company's fish shops and cold rooms, producing ice and water for washing, processing and preserving the products. We also sought to see what goes on in there.
This is the processing room. As you can see, the girls are peeling the prawns. After treating, they take to the cold room, and then from the cold room, they distribute to the different fish shops. So this is our export cold room brand. This is Nature's Pearl brand by Carflex. So this comes in 2 kilos, and you have different grades and different species.
After the tour, Mrs. Samuel explained how the business started out with 10 run-down medium vessels back in 2003 and how they have grown over the years with the support of the Bank of Industry.
We acquired the Carflex Fisheries in 2001. It used to be called Silver Fisheries. I think the former owners could not manage the company and they sold off. And we bought 10 dead medium vessels. I will call it dead because they were all not functioning. And we had to do so much work, injected a lot of funds to bring the vessels alive. And that was how we started with the 8. We sold off 2 because those ones were not redeemable, and we continued with 8. And we call them medium vessels, but some people call them croaker vessels also, because it's only meant for fishing. And from 2003, we started actively. We were fishing, and then in 2004 was when we acquired our big vessel, the first 2 big vessels. And the journey started.
What gap is Carflex out to fill, and how well has it fared doing that?
What we intended to do, the interest to feed people, the interest to create jobs, the interest to grow the economy.
Carflex Fisheries encountered the Bank of Industry in 2017, and the relationship has resulted in timely interventions leading to increase in working capital and other assets, as well as increased production, job creation, export and forex earning capacities.
The Bank of Industry has been fantastic. They came in at a time that we really needed help. Like I said, we have been on this journey on our own, all through from 2001 until 2017, when our relationship with Bank of Industry started. Proud to say that with the Bank of Industry loan, we're able to acquire 2 additional vessels, which have increased our net asset from 2.5 billion to about 4 billion. So I would say that Bank of Industry has really done so much for us, and we are hoping that they still continue to do much. because the more vessels we can acquire, that also means the higher the production. We will be able to increase the local production of fish. We'll also be able to increase the shrimps which we export abroad, which also will earn foreign earnings, foreign exchange earnings for the country. Aside that, it created more jobs. Having been able to get the funds we got from Bank of Industry and the African Development Bank, we were able to, do a lot.
Carflex has also responded to the Bank of Industry's gesture with commensurate goodwill, repaying their loans promptly.
For people who are in business, serious-minded people, I don't think they will take a loan and not think of paying back. Because if you don't pay back, there are consequences. And any loan that is taken sincerely should be meant for the business. Like I told you, we acquired 2 big vessels worth over $2 million. $2 million for one, and we acquired 2 then.
The COVID-19 pandemic has impacted several businesses in different ways, and Carflex has had its fair share. But the sector is experiencing some movement now, and so is sales at Carflex.
It has impacted negatively on us because right now we've had backlogs of containers that were supposed to have been exported. Our suppliers abroad are not able to sell because most of the restaurants are not functioning. There's restriction of movement, which has affected so much. However, now that restrictions are being controlled with social distancing, covering of the nose by way of wearing the mask, washing your hands, and doing so much, businesses are beginning to open up gradually.
Despite the challenges, Carflex has and will continue to fight to feed the nation, of course, with the support of the Bank of Industry. Polystyrene is a material made by stringing together or polymerizing styrene to form a building block of chemical which can be used to manufacture many other kinds of products for different uses. For many, especially in this part of the world, polystyrene is solely used for packaging. But as a hard, solid plastic, it is often used in transparent products such as food packaging and laboratory wear. And when combined with various colorants or other plastics, polystyrene comes in handy in making certain automobile parts, toys, and the list of possibilities with polystyrene is endless. A few years back, the Bank of Industry discovered a privately owned indigenous company dedicated to bringing Nigerians the full benefits of endless possibilities to which one can put polystyrene, and BOI supported the enterprise. Polystyrene Industries is a limited liability company incorporated in April of 2010 with the aim of producing high-quality polystyrene products for the Nigerian market, finding expression in construction, food packaging and processing, and of course housing, as we have come to find out on this excursion to their factory located within the Idu Industrial Area, Federal Capital Territory, Abuja.
Now, why did BOI have to assist us to do this one? Because we were dying from getting so little construction work.
With a burst of energy and passion, the MD CEO, Mr. Hamza Atta, is glad to show us the various ways his company has given expression to polystyrene.
Disposable plates. And you see, we have 4 molds of those. So we're able to produce 4 at a time. So if you calculate 4 times 10 seconds every day, that's how we're able to do it. So we will expand the machinery depending on requests. Now this is the polystyrene bead, okay?
So this is the main raw material?
This is the main raw material. It comes in different sizes, in different grains. It can come as food grade, It can come as a flammable, or it can come as a fire retardant.
Oh, this is another side.
This is where he's expanding it from, right? Then it goes into the silos over there for drying. You see?
Ah, I see.
Okay?
Wow.
So that's the silo.
So these are the more compact.
That's what he tells me. Come on, hit this one. Can you see that? And that's just 20. So if it was 25, it would be stronger. If it was 30, it would be even stronger. It would be like stone. Polystyrene is an amazing compressive material. POP, cheap and affordable, and light, so it will not fall off the building. Like what you are casting, all the mess on the site, this is already pre-formed, okay? That's a cooler with some color, because people were complaining that it's getting dirty. So we've ordered some pigment now to make it gray, but I could make it green, I could make it purple,
red,
I could make it red, I could make it any color that you like. We can decorate buildings. We have materials for hard coating. So you would think it's stone. So sometimes you see some buildings outside, you think somebody has cast this out of concrete. It is just foam. When you go to Dubai, they just stick them on the building. And because it's non-biodegradable, it's never going to rust, it's never going to spoil, it's never going to mold. Do you understand? So we do columns. You can just cast your column square, and I can make it any shape you want on the outside. Look at that. Yeah, look at that. That's a whole parapet before it's coated. You know, before the roof of a building, right? Normally, you have to put iron, you have to put wood before you cast it, then you take it off, then you have to plaster it. This one, by the time we finish, and I'll show you some samples, it's already perfect. This is one of my best sellers.
For Polystyrene Industries Limited, it's not a monopoly. Theirs is about empowerment, partnership, job creation, and support for others in the value chain.
We have programs here where we teach developers, we teach builders how to use the panel, because you can achieve so much more.
How to incorporate it.
Absolutely. And the buildings are far more comfortable. So it's just a win-win situation for everybody. That's the magic we're doing here. Now let's go into some buildings.
I thought that was all until he asked to take me into an entire building made largely from polystyrene. Another interesting thing about polystyrene is that they're very durable. He tells me this very cast has been sitting out here for the last 15 years.
You can see my building. Of course, it's a mini building, but you can see that my building is all tied together everywhere with reinforcement. Yes, very light. You can carry it easily. In fact, I'll show you a picture of when I was carrying it here. But that's the first polystyrene building that was built in Nigeria.
You tell me this is a polystyrene building?
Yes.
End to end?
Yes.
All right. How many percentage cheaper would you say this is compared to if you were to use the traditional cemented block?
Now, I cannot talk about windows and doors and finishing.
Okay.
I can only talk about the structure.
Yes.
And this is talking numbers here. I can save you 20% of the cost of a traditional building.
20%?
Yes, and I can do it in half of the time. This is a little sample of a concrete parapet that you put on a normal building that you're building, right? It's just decorative. It's not giving you any structural integrity in your building. In fact, it costs you more money to be able to carry it on your building. So when we talk about what savings can we make for you, please attempt to carry this section. Okay?
Well, it's some weight.
Right. Back-breaking weight, right?
Absolutely.
Now try my sample, which is twice the length of that one.
Can you move back a bit?
Absolutely. Put your back in it.
I'm yanking it up. Can you see this? This is fantastic. This is
It's a strong man.
fantastic. I'm a strong guy.
Okay? Now come to my IDP building. This is a 2 million naira building. Without the tiles.
So what's the volume and variety of production in this company? The general manager, Mr. Abubakar Tanko, explains.
Polystyrene Industries Limited uses polystyrene, expanded polystyrene material and galvanized steel wire for the production of wall panels, slabs, and moldings for building application. Also, we have polystyrene application in shape molding, in agri products, in medical packaging application, and we also have polystyrene in food packaging.
Talking about job creation, we also found out that Polystyrene Industries Limited has within its employ 2 generations of employees from the same family. Beginning from the lower rung of the ladder at the company decades ago, Mr. Emianto Felix has risen to become a supervisor at Polystyrene Limited. He has also raised his children over the years with income from this job, one of whom is Victory Felix, a graduate of accountancy. She has now been employed at Polystyrene in the accounts department. They're both proud to be a part of the culture of excellence here.
Since 2002, I've joined this company. So I use this company. I work here and train my children.
Shortly after the tour of the factory, I settled down with the partners of Polystyrene Limited, first with the executive director of the company, Mr. Onome Sedeso, who talks about the business case for polystyrene in Nigeria and the value of the Bank of Industry's intervention.
We went to the Bank of Industry to try and ramp up our capacity. This was 3 years ago. Now, why did we do that? This goes back to what I said earlier on. We came here, we're purely built to service the construction sector and address the huge deficit in our housing market. But we were only achieving probably 45% of my capacity at best. So we now thought, okay, how do we make an impact in Nigeria? What are the other industries that can benefit from our technology? And at that stage, we were now looking at the agricultural sector was being actively pursued, actively raised by the federal government, and we have all the basic tools in place. We have the technology know-how. We are here in Nigeria, so we had to look for a partner that wasn't going to bite our head off financially, and a partner that we believe will support us through the ups and downs. As you know, that will happen, different challenges have in business. And so BOI was the right partner. So we sat down, spoke to the BOI Bank of Industry, told them, look, this is the market we need to address now. We need to address the food and beverage sector. We need to address the agricultural sector and be able to service them, to bring them up to speed in terms of international standards, efficiency, and competitiveness. So that's what led to us sitting down with BOI and forming the partnership.
Afterwards, the MD-CEO, Mr. Hamza Atta, speaks about how Nigeria could maximize this wonderful material for development, industry, and job creation.
We were coming here to support the government. We were coming here to support the government in delivering on its promises. So the beauty for me is that we ended up traveling all over the country, meeting governor after governor, and telling them what we wanted to do. We had 1 or 2 successes, but we found that the dominant force in Nigeria, the meritocracy in Nigeria, is the private sector. It's made me understand Nigeria. Nigeria is about a network. There's a political network, and they're like a family, and they kind of stick together and support each other. Then there's the rest of us, okay? And honestly, we have survived over the last 20 years servicing the private sector. And it's been an amazing journey because they've driven us to push the material to its full potential. So we've built panels in Lagos, in Port Harcourt, in Akwa Ibom, in Cross River, in Maiduguri, in Yola, in Birnin Kebbi. You know, I go to places and then I see my material because people now have embraced it and come to buy from all over the country and outside Nigeria. This industry can really revolutionize the workforce here in Nigeria. I think right now, just in the plant, we employ 92 people. With one real estate job in Nigeria, we could be employing 1,000 people. And you can carry on like that. There's the women who are supplying the aggregates, the sands, the paints. It's all a sequence. It all just continues. It's just a sequence when you start working.
It's no surprise at all that the Bank of Industry supported these companies. They help put food on the table, create jobs, and provide shelter in ways that supports the environment. Do not struggle alone in the year 2021. Let the Bank of Industry support you. Visit any of their offices closest to you or log on to their website at boi.ng. Feel free to tweet at me at KAY for further inquiries. But remember, you can watch previous editions of the program on youtube.com by typing BOI Weekly in the search area. That will be our show for today. Many thanks for watching. I'm Kayode Alayande. Bye now.